So today we are going to be talking about 4 or 5 topics. I think they're all important for you to have some sense of, and it'll be short as usual, a gigabyte of information in a nanosecond, so to say. The first thing that we'll talk about, since the unemployment numbers are out, we'll be talking about the Tri-City unemployment rates, what has happened the past 2 months, and whether or not the Federal Reserve actions that are being taken nationally is affecting us locally here in Glendale and Pasadena and Burbank. Second thing we're going to be talking about is the Glendale market as of July, but this is a resource that many of you know about how to use the infographics, but I'll share it with you just in case for the ones that have missed on it, because it's a handy tool. Third, we'll be talking about the seller's guide, again, another handy tool, and on CAR.org, and how you can use that in your marketing scheme, so to say, or program. Fourth, we will be looking at the cost of electrification. Folks, this is the next big issue that is going to be affecting private property rights. It's going to be affecting your clients and yourselves and your the properties that you own. And then we are going to be talking about the Glendale Permits, or GlendalePermits.org. City of Glendale was not known for having celerity in processing permits and so forth. This is one of the reasons why we chose and we supported this new manager, because of the innovative approaches that he has brought to the City of Glendale, one of which is GlendalePermits.org. We'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, last but not least, we will give you a couple of more legislative updates that we think is important for you to know and to see how your contributions to CAR is at work. Tri-City unemployment. Now, if you look at the May numbers that we gave you in the month of May, City of Glendale had 4.2% unemployment rate.
You're not sharing your screen.
It's not being shared? Let me...
No, it's not.
Please unmute. Please
okay,
mute
I am very sorry. I'm very sorry. Let me try again.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hang on a second, we'll get there, and I'm glad some of you actually brought that up. If not, I would have gone through the entire presentation without sharing the screen. Robert, have you made me a host?
I don't think Robert's there.
Okay, let's see now. Do you see a
blank screen?
Start your screen.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Very good. Now, do you see my
Yes.
first page?
Yes.
These are the items. Is this available to you all for your viewing pleasure? Excellent.
Yeah.
So we are going to be talking about the Tri-City unemployment rate. Back in May, when we updated your information, Glendale was at 4.2% unemployment, Pasadena 3.8%, and Burbank at 5.6%, and the county was at 4.5%. So other than Burbank, we were beating the county numbers, which was very, very good. California in May had 4.3% unemployment rate. Today, you can see that in comparison to the 4.2%, we are at 4.9%. Pasadena is at 4.4%. Again, ever slightly increased. And of course, Burbank at 6.5%. The county is at 5%, California at 3.9%. So you can see that our unemployment rates locally are becoming elevated as we speak. Now, it is important to also put this in context with the United States unemployment rate. California is at 3.9%, a little bit slightly over what U.S. unemployment rate is. And we, of course, are all above the U.S. unemployment rate. Now, it is important for you to know that California's unemployment rate at 3.9% is the lowest unemployment rate that we've had in the past 40 years. Now, you've heard us, David, myself, tell you that our economy is the tale of two cities, right? It is strong as far as employment is concerned, and kind of teetering, so to say, on GDP to negative growth, inflation high, and cost of living being high, and rents going up, and so forth. But having said that, the jury is still out. We know that the Federal Reserve is going to keep on pushing the interest rates higher in order to bring the inflation into control. This is the one that I wanted to share with you that you can access via CAR.org. I will be posting the link in your chat, and it is very interesting because you can actually create an infographic for your clients anywhere for any city in state of California. And that's the link that you see, and I will be putting it in there. You may want to be able to use it for your marketing efforts. This one we did for City of Glendale as of July. The median price, $1.36 million, and so forth and so on. The second CAR.org infographics that I think is terrific is the seller's guide. By the way, there is a corresponding buyer's guide to it as well. And the way that you will access it, again, is through the CAR.org, and I will be providing it to you. Now, all of these infographics are designed to help you communicate with your buyer or seller. And I believe that as a marketing person, these are great and need to be used if you so consider it. I want to talk a little bit about electrification. Why is it important? Because we are being told that 25% of the buildings in California contribute about 25% to greenhouse gases. And this is why we have the SB 100, AB 3232, that we have to reduce that greenhouse gases by 40% below 1992, I believe, numbers and so forth. But there's a catch, and the catch is the cost of electrification. Now, we do know that there are a lot of municipalities, including City of Glendale, have already established ordinances for an all-electric single-family home construction. But that really affects very little or a very low number of properties. For example, in the permitting, from what I gathered from Glendale Permitting Services, in the entire last year, there were about 20 single-family homes that were new and to be built, and permits were pulled for them. The big deal is the existing stock, and this is where we have to be very, very careful. Not that we at CAOR or GAOR are against renewables. We are not. But we do believe that electricity needs to be provided on a dependable, affordable, and reliable way. And with that, again, there is a cost for electrifying existing stock of homes. Basically, to give you an idea of what our housing stock is made of, anything that is below 1979 housing stock constitutes about 58% of the entire housing stock in the state of California. And in fact, City of Glendale is known for having very old vintage homes. And so these homes were not designed with energy conservancy in mind. There were no dual pane windows, the doors, and so forth, right? 72% of the housing stock in the state of California is being fueled by gas. So by just saying no to gas, what we are going to be able to achieve is we could mandate it, but is it going to be practical? How much is it going to cost? How is it going to affect your clients and your own homes, right? And for that purpose, what we have done, or CAR has done, is put together a cost study for a home to be converted to electrical total electricity that has been built before 1978. That cost is $34,000. That's a whopping $34,000. Imagine when you have a senior citizen living in a house and all of a sudden they have to electrify their home by a mandate. By the way, this is not around yet, right? And if it's going to be around, you can bet that we are going to have a say in it, on how the approach is going to be, how these folks are going to be made whole, and so forth. So please keep that in the back of your mind. This is the next step, but how long it will take for us to get to that level, it's anybody's guess. GlendalePermits.org. Starting September 13, Glendale is going online with all of its permitting services, right? And that is, and that is important because it's going to make it a whole lot faster for folks to be able to get their permits and so forth. And one interesting aspect of all of these online service is the mapping end of it, that you can actually enter a parcel or an address and you can, within seconds, find out if there is any work being done on that property, or whether it's legal, whether it's permitted or not. So stay tuned on this one. I will update you on this. I think a lot of your clients that may have, for example, want to build an ADU and or do a modest, so to say, addition or so forth, this is going to help them a great deal to get through the process faster. And again, this is one reason why your executive team and your board of directors decided to throw our name in the hat in supporting the present city manager, Mr. Galanian. And we're happy that we've done that because he is on an innovation path that I think is going to help us a great deal. The other one, the other thing that I want to do is, last but not least, is to give you some more updates, legislative updates. Now, last week we talked about the 1105, SB 679, AB 2011, and the CEQA exemption, and SB 6. And this week, what I'd like to do is to add on SB 1026. Now, this was a bill that, had it been passed, would have been very burdensome for the housing provider, because it would have asked for the housing provider to conduct an energy survey. This is, folks, before even a lease is signed, we would have had to provide a tenant with all the information on the HVAC, whether or not it's efficient, on the walls, on the doors, on the windows, on the appliances, and so forth. Fortunately, we defeated that 1026 or SB 1026 for one reason only. We are not energy experts. It is not our job to do that. The other one was AB 2383, which was also defeated, and CAR took a leadership role in it. And that had to do that if you were through the application process, doing some criminal background check on a tenant, you have to provide a notice to the tenant, and you have to tell them where you got it from, how you got it from, and how it affected your decision. Now, you know very well that none of us are lawyers. Well, not none of us, but most of us are not lawyers. And this would have been very, very burdensome for the housing providers and your clients. And of course, the other one, that we were successful in getting it through, and all of these need to be signed. If it's not going to be vetoed by the governor, it's going to be on his desk, and the governor has got until the September 30th to make those decisions. AB 2170 is going to prohibit servicers, mortgage bankers, and or banks that are foreclosing over 175 units to bulk sale those units to be corporations, because it is important for us that the missing middle, to have the entire opportunity to be able to become a homeowner. So we were successful in passing that one and defeating the first two. With that, Mr. President, this would conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greg.